Welcome to the Art of Money podcast with Art McPherson.
And this is the Art of Money podcast with Art McPherson and Luke McCarty, artofmoneyradio.com for more information on the McPherson Financial Group or to schedule that initial complimentary consultation. We appreciate you listening. Now, let's get to the show. And welcome back to the Art of Money with Art McPherson. Luke McCarty is here, all powered by the McPherson Financial Group. 321-425-8550. You're ready to get serious about your retirement plan. Take advantage of that complimentary consultation. And I know it's summer. Why are we Monday Night Football? This doesn't make sense. It does because Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, had the opportunity to play golf with, I guess you could say, a local legend now. Played at University of Florida with the Jets, now with the Saints. Part of the Marcus Maye Foundation golf tournament. How was that?
Yeah, so the Marcus Maye Foundation was putting on a golf tournament at Duran Country Club, and we were, or golf course, not country club, I should say. And we were a sponsor, so we had a whole sponsor. And Marcus Maye, he went to Holy Trinity here locally. Then he was a Florida Gator. Then he got drafted by the Jets, and he's an NFL safety. And when I stood next to him, I sent this picture to my dad, and he's pretty big. He's tall, he's big, and of course I weigh a lot more than he does, and he's a lot faster than I am, but I couldn't imagine him coming with a full head of steam. He seems like a big guy.
I really thought Luke was going to say, yeah, he's a big guy, but I'm bigger. I'll probably be better than him.
I did too, actually.
No. He surprised me by his how tall he was, I should say.
Well, like I said, it was a great event for the Marcus Maye Foundation, and y'all had a chance to spend a couple of minutes with Marcus Maye as you're playing golf. So there's a little bit of wind in the background, but here he is talking about the goals of the Marcus Maye Foundation.
We came up with an idea of just starting a foundation and, reaching out to those individuals, to those families in need. Like we said, single parents, that's our main thing because we went through that experience with my mother. So ever since growing up, that was a goal of mine to help out single mothers in needs, families in needs, and things like that.
Is it okay with you if a Seminole helps with the foundation a little bit?
Yes, it is. It is, because they helped out with the process of getting here. So I would definitely take anything coming from the Seminoles.
How was his golf game?
We didn't actually play with Marcus and his group, so we were actually a little bit ahead of his group. So the only thing we saw him do was putting. And he seemed to be fine there, but he actually apologized for his game during our event. So I would imagine, he said he's new to the game. So I would imagine he had a lot of those miss hits and chunk hits and things like that because he's still, he signed a deal just, this year for another 3 years with the Jets. So right now, I'd say it's a little more important to be good at football. He's got 25 million reasons to be better at football than he does at golf right now.
Yeah. With the Saints. You said Jets, but yeah, the Saints.
Sorry, I meant the Saints.
That's okay.
A lot of times these pro athletes that don't play a lot of golf, they don't know their own power. They'll get on the tee box and they'll drive it 350 yards, but then they'll go for the second shot 80 yards out and they'll hit that one 250 yards.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And you said local guy doing good things. Obviously, he played at the University of Florida, but here's Marcus Maye talking about some of the hometown shout outs and schools that he attended.
Growing up here in Melbourne, I went to University Park, Palm Bay Elementary, Brevard Christian, and then I ended up at Holy Trinity my 8th grade year in middle school. My mom made the decision to move me from a public school to a private school, and that was probably, one of the main things was educational purposes. I can't thank her enough for making that decision for me because it allowed me to get to this point.
And that point being now part of the NFL as well. So it seems like a really good guy.
He is, and he is learning about the foundations, things like that. But they did a really good job. Luke and I were both impressed with what they did, and we want to be involved next year. So we'll keep in contact with them and make it a client event too.
And we were making fun of Luke. We were making fun of Art earlier in the show because of the radio room and all the. Well, me and Julie were, but about how Art loves to work hard and play hard, and y'all get involved in a lot of these great charity events. So when you see the autographed guitars or the pictures with the celebrities, this isn't Art McPherson, Luke McCarty hounding these professional athletes for pictures and to play around to golf. They get involved with these charities to help support the community, and that's what you did, Luke.
Yeah, we did. So this was his first charity golf tournament. So he has what's called Maye, and it's once a year. It's here in Brevard County. They did it in West Melbourne, where it's a football camp for kids. And so, they're there, he has, some other, high profile athletes out there with them, helping these kids and getting these kids excited about playing football. And, the best part about it is, right, it's here in Brevard County. So anytime we can help a charity, of course, charity will be inclined to do a lot of events across the country, but to have a local person here, a local NFL athlete coming back home and doing an event like this, I mean, it was very well run. We had a great time. And Marcus is a good guy. We had a lot of conversations off the air, which were kind of funny, about his recruiting trips and, the things he went through, meeting, Nick Saban wanted him to go to Bama, right? And then, he went and visited Florida State and, LSU, but then he picked the Florida Gators because it was closer to home.
He told us, he goes, I couldn't go to Florida State. Too many girls. It was too crazy. He said it was like, it would have been bad for me.
Too much fun. Yeah.
At least he recognized it. Good on him at a young age. Hey, speaking of going pro, here he is talking about his draft experience to the NFL.
We just had the NFL draft in Kansas City, my hometown.
Yep.
Give me a little quick tidbit about your experience in the draft, right? Went in the second round, right?
Yep.
Tell me about that. So did you go to the draft? Or you take the call from home, or how'd that work?
So I had the opportunity to go to the draft. They wanted me to come out there, but I decided to stay here at home and have a watch party here at home because you can only take a certain amount to the draft. So I felt, I didn't want to leave anybody out. So having it here at home, we had it over on Beachside in Melbourne Beach. And just getting that phone call, 7 years ago now?
7 years.
About 7 years ago now. It was a life-changing experience.
For sure.
Life-changing moment, just not for me, but for everybody involved, for my entire family and things like that, for the city as well.
Of course.
So, I'm just thankful for, everybody that had a helping hand because it takes a village. And it definitely took a village to get me to where I'm at.
We talked earlier about his new contract with the Saints and talk about generational wealth, Art McPherson. And when you put a plan together, you also want to build a plan, not just for us as we reach our retirement, but for our family, our kids, and our grandkids to take advantage of our hard work.
Yeah, well, one of the things you want to really look at is the average person not in the NFL, having that kind of generational wealth, that when they have really pretty darn good assets, are usually involved in real estate or IRAs, 401ks. So there's, for most people in our area, the $12 million exemption per person is going to cover you. So you don't really have any estate taxes, things like that. But there's a lot of planning that can go along with how to take the IRA money and get that tax free to your kids and your grandkids. Because the way it is in an IRA or a 401k chassis, all that is taxed when it's distributed. So if you can make arrangements, and there's all kinds of ways that we look at that. So if this is money you're not going to spend during your retirement, and we're going to have this transfer to your kids and your grandkids, how can we do that and pay the tax that's going to be due on that for cents on the dollar? So a lot of times we'll look at those types of strategies.
Luke, do you ever deal with a family when we talk about generational wealth? There's like some infighting and you kind of have to remove yourself from the situation.
I mean, our job's to build that plan. There's always, potential for things to go awry right after your passing, even if you have a trust, even if you trust your executor or whomever you put in charge. But, the legacy planning is all about, how do you pass money from generation to generation in the most tax efficient way possible? And that's kind of what Art was getting at. But we have programs where you can fund your great grandkids or your unborn great grandkids, right? If you have this much wealth, and it's funny talking about, we just talked to Marcus Maye about his foundation, but I was talking to a client Art and I were a couple of weeks ago, and I kind of said, hey, you're to the point now where you should consider your own family foundation, right? Put your kids on the board, put your grandkids that you may or may not know yet if they're here or not, put them on. And I made the joke saying, your kids and great grandkids can play golf with your money for the rest of their life at charity golf tournaments, right? Or they could take a salary from your charity, from the foundation. So there's ways to have generational wealth, have it keep going down. Of course, even if you don't want to give it all away in that foundation example, but there's definitely ways to create a legacy for your family.
Thanks for listening. Want more from Art McPherson of McPherson Financial Group? Find us online at artofmoneyradio.com.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Securities offered through World Equity Group, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Investment advisory services offered through ProStatus Group, LLC. McPherson Financial Group and ProStatus Group, LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by World Equity Group, Inc. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Investment financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. Art McPherson is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Arthur McPherson. Florida Insurance License number A174725.
Today's show has been a work of art.